world of handmade business can be tough when trying to monetize what you love. We've got truth bombs and motivation to help you find your way through. Passion to profit, let's start today, 'cause the world needs what you create. Tune in right now, it's your shot to learn how to be a handmade boss.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the How to Be a Handmade Boss podcast. I have Karen with me. And basically, we're going to be plugging Karen's business away. We're going to be chatting, going to be talking all things to do with Karen's business. So without further ado, tell us a little bit more about you and what you do and your business.
I'm Karen Podolsky. I'm the owner and creator of Fireside Arts LLC. Recently retired. Well, not completely retired because I still work with him part-time, like 10 hours a week from the accounting profession. And I was in senior management positions for the last 20 plus years of that. But I've always been an artist. And a lot of people thought I was going to college for art because I was so good at it. They're like, oh, she's going to go to college. Like, yeah, you can't make money in art. So we're going to do something a little bit better and go for accounting. But I always loved to create and make beautiful things. I started sewing as a teenager. And it's always been one of my favorite things to do in my spare time. I started out by creating Barbie doll clothes for my nieces.
Wow.
Yeah, a little teeny tiny stuff. And they still have them, by the way. It's one of their most treasured memories. And then I used my sewing skills to make gifts for my friends when they had babies because, I couldn't afford a lot. So I could make a baby quilt. That was something I could do. And I did it on my handy dandy Singer sewing machine, And I made diaper bags, curtains, because I couldn't find what I wanted in the store, balances, pillowcases throughout the year. So whenever I couldn't find it in the store, I made it myself. And then when my daughter got her first apartment, she's like, hey, Mom, can you make me some curtains? Because I can't find ones that fit my apartment. I'm like, sure. And she just now bought a house. And so you know what I've been doing. Yeah. Curtains, tablecloths. I recovered her chairs for her. I'm getting ready to make some napkins out of the rest of the material left over from the chairs. So I originally planned to retire in about 3 years. And I toyed around with the idea of opening out an Etsy shop when I retired so that I would have something to keep me active and keep me busy. Except last year, we received some kind of troubling news about my husband.
I'm so sorry.
And his health was declining, and they said there's no Hail Mary at the end. So, hard to swallow, but, then you have to make different choices. You go, okay, now we know something. How do you change that? And that's why I upped my retirement date and ended up retiring in November and started my Etsy shop in September thinking, oh, okay, we'll get it going before I, officially retire. And that helped keep me busy while tending to him and caretaking for him. And I decided, hey, I'll do my sewing. I used, those skills and opened up my shop. And so that's how it began. I'm providing colorful, unique handmade goods to customers who want to personalize their home decor with items that match your style, things you can't find in the store. So I mainly make placemats, coasters, pocket pot holders, can koozies. I also make a line of a few stuffed animals. I have elephants, bunnies, and turtles. And that's what Fireside Arts is all about. And it's now my full-time passion as my husband passed in February. So, he was my biggest cheerleader. So I was like, now I'm going full in. I'm going to make this kind of a legacy for him as well.
I love that. I'm really sorry to hear about your husband. And there's no easy way to talk about it, is there? There's no easy way to sort of bring it up and kind of go into it. But I really like what you said about he was your biggest cheerleader, and the fact that, he's like, yeah, I want you to do this, and you're doing it. So that is really awesome.
Yeah.
Really good. So I guess you sort of answered the question, what made you fall in love with what you sell? What made you say, this is the thing. This is what I'm going to do. This is my niche.
Yeah, I decided, because I love art and color, and sewing inspires me to create home decor that matches my style, and my style changes. Like, I might want something different for spring than for summer, and I want something that's not plastic that I throw away. I'm becoming more and more eco-conscious. My kids kind of push you in that direction as well, you know. So you know, at least the products that I make, they're washable, they're reusable, they're reversible. So, you know, the placemats are reversible. So you have a design on each side. I've done several custom orders already, and pot holders, and in the placemats and the coasters. So, you know, it gives me the versatility to make what I want. I don't make 150 of the same placemat. First of all, you can't, because the fabric's not around. Usually where I buy from, the fabric's not around for that long. In fact, I had one I bought, I really loved. It sold well, and I can't get the fabric anymore. It's like, really there's not much you can do. I mean, because you don't know what's going to be your best seller.
Yeah.
I don't have the bandwidth to buy 100 yards of fabric thinking, oh yeah, that's going to sell. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, basically they're kind of like one-off products, because once they're sold out, that's it. There aren't going to be any more, which I think the customers like as well. From what I hear from my feedback from my customers, they like that as well, because it's not something they're going to find in their neighbor's home.
Yeah. And I think it's actually a really good thing when you can't get a lot of one thing. I think the first thing people think when they say, I can't really make 100 of this, is the scalability point of view. But I actually think the more powerful way to look at it is actually, it's an exclusive, it's a limited edition. It's something that, like you say, you're not going to get anywhere else, which I love. Yeah. And there are other people that make placemats, you know, because obviously I'm in the HBSA. I've been, you know, I did my competitor analysis, but no one else does the variety and the color that I do, you know? Which is your USP, I guess.
I like the color. I like something that's going to jazz my space up and make it look different.
I love it. Yeah. So from Barbie doll clothes to a thriving business.
Yeah. Look at that. Who knew?
I love it. And so what I would love to know is, how have you found the journey from accounts and doing all of that to going into something creative? Because you don't hear a lot of people doing that. You don't hear a lot of people going from, I assume, very corporate-y to doing something creative. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I've always been a creative person. I have always been outside the norm for the normal accountant. I am not the normal accountant. And every person that's worked for me is like, you definitely are different, because I think outside the box. You know, I use a lot of Lean Six Sigma in my job, and I think about better ways of doing things. And it always relies upon you thinking outside the box. Well, you normally do it ABC, you know, what happens if you change that around? And that allows my creative juices to go through. Always done art on the side. I do a lot of gardening as well. Green thumb here. Yeah, it's green, trust me. At least that's what everyone else tells me. I think it has something to do with Mother Nature and the rain and the sun, but you know, I have killed a few plants. I can say that.
Me too.
Yeah. I think going into the art is expanding that creative side of me. It's allowing that piece to come through. But the business structure you need in order to run a business is there. I'm leveraging my master's degree, you know, all the things that I've learned throughout the years. And of course, I know what my books look like. I got the built-in accountant.
I love it. Yeah. So when people like posting things in the group that's like, oh, I don't understand this. You're like, it's good. See, my day job for the longest time has me covered there. So I'm all good. Which I think is really cool.
Yeah. And my daughter's in marketing, so she's my marketing expert.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't get a better combo than that, really.
Yeah. Although I have to wait, you know, I do have to wait. It's not like I'm paying her. So it's like, okay, you know, hey, I need a new, you know, I'm waiting for my new banner right now. I need a banner. Can you help me out on that? I know it's really simplistic and you were supposed to jazz it up. So I'm waiting.
That's really good. I love that. Combo of the year. Okay, so I guess my question is, where/when did you find me, the HBSA? Like how did that kind of fall into your
I found you in November, and I think it might have come through on Facebook. As you get all those ads and stuff, and I'm like, there's something about you that clicked. There's a lot of me in you, I see a lot of similarity. I'm like, I like listening to her. She seems down to earth, and I was like, okay, so I listened to a few and joined the challenge. The postathon was fabulous.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. And just followed along from that. And then, I wanted to sign up for the Academy in December.
Mm.
And then, husband's health wasn't doing all that great. So I'm like, I'm just going to hold off right now.
Of course. Yeah.
And then, said he wouldn't want me to take the challenge. So I went ahead and invested in myself.
Yeah. I think you have the background, you have the cheerleaders, you've got support. So yeah, I love that it's all kind of like falling into place, so to speak.
Yeah. And my shop only opened in September, and it's moving right along. People are like, oh, how you doing? I said, hey, my conversion rate's decent. Do I get orders every day? No. But, based on my views and conversion rate, it's between 2% and 3%. I can't complain.
Yeah. And I guess it truly is a numbers game, which I know that you completely understand.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people put a lot of emotion into the numbers. And what are your thoughts on that? Because obviously you have always kind of kept numbers as facts. It's what they are. They don't lie. Have you got any advice for anyone who is making their numbers mean something about themselves? It's a juicy question, I know, but
yeah, it takes a while to be found. I mean, unless you've got that one silver bullet that everybody loves and it's just going to skyrocket you to the top of the charts, and then you might be a one-hit wonder and then never get any more sales after that. It's slow but steady wins the race. It takes time to build a business. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't say, one day I'm going to be working my 9 to 5 and the next day I'm just going to be doing this. It takes time to build it, and you have to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. So what impact would you say, because I know that obviously you had your ducks in a row kind of almost before finding like the challenge and the postathon and all that sort of stuff. What would you say has helped you the most looking at the HBSA in regards to your business and the journey that you've been on with it all?
It's helped me a lot with the marketing.
Yeah.
On pinning down, like I had an idea who my target market was, but doing that research, and I mean, I spent 2 weeks on target market and dug in like 5 hours a day, really digging into it and doing the research and grinding through. I mean, there's 10 businesses you're looking at. You can't just give them a half an hour. You really need to dig and find out what you're seeing and what they're doing. And a lot of them aren't marketing at all. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they don't want to be a full-time business either. You don't know. That's one thing you don't know. But it has helped a lot on the marketing aspects of my business. It's where, you get okay, that helps, how to do the titles in the Etsy descriptions. When you start your Etsy shop, their pointers aren't always that great, And sometimes I've just completely redone them. If I hadn't had any activity, like I posted it, and once I started listening to your podcast and stuff, it's like, well, it doesn't matter. It hasn't had no activity. So if it resets, it doesn't matter. It's not doing anything anyway. And, fixed it and I'm starting to get seen by the Etsy algorithms.
That's really good.
On some of my newer products too. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
Yeah. I love that. And I would love to know more about when it comes to, so when you dug into your target market, you kind of did your side eyeing and kind of looked at who was doing what a lot of people struggle with when they see competitors and other people in their niche doing something or this marketing strategy or whatever. They struggle with kind of like, I think, comparing themselves and taking it on board as a criticism more than anything else. How did you get over that in terms of keeping it about looking at the stats versus the stats and not making it mean, again, anything about you and making you feel like, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that? Or
well, when I looked at, for example, I'll say I looked at fabric baskets, okay, because I have a lot of different products that hit different niches. And all the ones that I see out there they're different. The colors are different. They're more plain. They're not as colorful and as mine are. So I'm like going, well, they're targeting a different audience. That's what they feel comfortable in doing. One of the creators create their own fabrics kind of thing and make their baskets out of it. It's like, okay, they have a different niche, and there are a lot in placemats. There's a lot of Me Too's. And I look at them and, looking at the pricing, I'm like, I know how much that material costs. There's no way they're making a profit on what they're selling. I know it for a fact. I mean, I know the cheapest you can get that fabric. I'm like going, they're undervaluing their product.
So it's not comparing apples with apples, is it? Is comparing apples to oranges. So sometimes it's about keeping that in mind, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. And if someone buys their product because it's cheaper, well, okay, that's fine. Not everyone lines their placemats with the batting in between. I mean, there's a lot of differences. Some of them aren't two different designs. I mean, there's differences everywhere.
Yeah, and that's really good. Because a lot of people are too scared to look at what other people are doing in case it highlights their insecurities, I guess, for want of a better word. But I love the fact that you've used it and gone, yeah, I mean, fine, whatever. They've got this, and this, but there's layers in there. It's quality layers, and that's what makes you is because you've looked at that and you're like, well, I know for a fact that mine's probably one of the better ones out there, if not the best.
And there are some that, I looked at their designs and you can tell, given the different amount of designs that they have, they've got to be outsourcing it. First of all their mock-ups are mock-ups.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you say you're a small shop in Minnesota, and I mean rural Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota, so I know it's rural. There is no way you have access to get that kind of volume of that kind of fabric where you're sitting at and turn it around in one day. There's no way. Because I looked at their shipping time. I was like, yeah, they're outsourcing.
Yeah. I mean,
it comes from the business knowledge too, of knowing how you outsource versus if you're doing it by hand.
Yeah. I think consumers that come to Etsy, and obviously as of recording this, Etsy's just released this massive thing that is pretty well saying what you've said, and just said we are going to scrape away all of the stuff that is not really special, is not really handmade, because let's be honest, let's call a spade a spade. There's a lot on there that fall into that where they're not really handmade. And I like the fact that Etsy's kind of called that out, and it's caused a lot of confusion and panic, I think, for a lot of people that I think maybe might touch their toes into that territory. But I like the fact that they are looking at scraping that back. And I think consumers are getting a lot more smart. They can see when it's a mock-up. They can see when it's not really handmade versus someone who puts the effort and time in, like what you do.
Yeah. I hand make every single one of mine. Every single one of my pictures are real products,
Love it. Are you doing custom orders at this time? Oh, you are. Good.
I've had several.
I love that, because I'm feeling like something for me with placemats and all that kind of stuff is always when you go to stores around Christmas time, holidays, and you start to see all these really nice Christmassy. But for me, I don't like to have a lot of stuff around. So I really like the idea of having a reversible where, like, on one side it's got very themed, then on the other side it's very plain.
Yeah. And I have several of those. I have some Thanksgiving ones, or you can use them for Halloween too. There, I love the pumpkin print, but on the backside, it's just orange and yellow dots. It's very, very generic. I had someone request Valentine's Day on one side, St. Patty's on the other.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then it became a standard product. I made it as a product because I had material left over. So I made it a product.
I love that. Space saving, eco-friendly. I love it.
Yep.
I Yeah, that's so great. It's such a really good idea as well, as having like one on each side. I just think that's so good.
And you can mix and match them on your table. So like you might have half with one design and you turn it over on the other side for the other half. It kind of jazzes up your table as well.
I love that. So if you've got like a blue and orange living room or dining room, you can say, I'm going to have half blue and half orange, or I'm going to do a mixy matchy thing.
That's right. And I actually did a little reel of going shopping for the fabric for one of my custom orders.
Oh, I bet that did well.
Yeah, it did. And the other one that has really taken off is, how you can change up your placemats on your table. I was like, that one's had the most views of all. I'm like, okay.
People love home content, don't they? I think they like to be a little bit nosy and kind of see what else they're doing, because there's not really, I don't really see a lot of like you see a lot of health accounts and beauty accounts and all that sort of thing, but you don't see a lot for just down to earth inspiration for your own home that is not a 7-bedroom mansion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't have 7 bedrooms. No, thank you.
No, I barely have 2.
I have 3, and one subs as my sewing room. So,
lucky thing.
Yeah.
I literally had to build mine.
Yeah.
My own room.
Yeah.
Okay, so what impact would you say that starting your business, finding the course, all that stuff has had on your life? Because I know it's a massive life change. It's a massive deal.
Yeah. I believe, like going through the academy has given me that work-life balance that I always try to work towards. And you've always got to remember, and what happened in February is a poignant reminder that you need to take time away and enjoy life as well. So, it's balance. It's all about balance,
Yeah, that's definitely something that I could do with remembering, for sure.
Everyone can.
Yeah, it can be really hard to find that balance and finding time away. And what's been the top? What would you say would be the top piece of advice you could give to someone who is saying, I feel like I'm spending so much time working on my business, but I just can't get my head out of it. When I'm off, I'm not really off. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to step away, because your best creative moments are when you step away. Like yesterday, I was over at the neighbor's house helping with their little wee ones. They're just so cute. 3 and 2. They're just adorable little ones. And, we were, I don't even remember what we were doing. And I got to brainstorm an idea for my next, reel. I'm like, got to write that down,
Love that.
It comes at the strangest moments when you give your brain a rest. That's when you go, and sometimes bouncing ideas off your friends, like you're just talking about something, oh yeah, gosh, I wish there was more coffee themed stuff out there in the world. I can't find the right placemat. So now I'm working on developing the coffee placemats.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I do agree that when you step away, you're not hammering your brain with, I need to do this, I need to think of this, and just giving yourself some space, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to find something you like to do that'll take your mind off of it. So, that's important, because it is your mind will continue to wind on something, but you've got to take that break.
Yeah.
It's the biggest lessons I've learned from working for 40 years is, all work and no play makes you a very dull person. You have to have playtime. In fact, next week we're going off to wine country.
So exciting for you. I love that.
Yeah. We planned the trip pre-COVID, and it had to be canceled because of all the COVID stuff. And we're finally doing it. We're going to go have fun in wine country for 4 days.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Although you'll probably be like, ooh, idea.
Well, I am going to use here's a hint. I am going to use some of the pictures from wine country to promote my wine country products.
Ooh, the timing's aligned there, didn't it?
Yeah. It's like, woo, yay. They're out. But now I have, I want to take some pictures of, it's just so beautiful out there when you see the rolling hills of all the vineyards. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love it. That is brilliant. Okay. An interesting question is, how different is your business from now to a year ago, or even 6 months ago, or even 2 years?
Yeah, a year ago it didn't exist. And your videos and challenges in the HBSA have given me the tools to continue to build and grow my business. It's helped me rethink, you take all these classes when you're going for your master's. It helps remind me, oh yeah, I remember, yep, this is what we need to do. This is the steps. And it's giving me the tools to step through and think through all those items that I need to put in place. The hints on, because Etsy doesn't tell you about the about page, and you can put videos on there and all that. It's like, I know when I set that up, that wasn't there, So, I've been able to improve that. I've improved my Instagram page. It has little buttons there. You can go in and see a little bit about me and the products that I make. I think it's helped a great deal.
I love it. I love it. And where do you see your business in a year's time?
I see it continuing to grow. Now, obviously, I don't see myself doing $100,000, $200,000 a year, because I don't know that I can sew that much. Really. But, I see myself booking revenues of $500 to $1,000 a month would be great. I'd be happy in that realm. It's not this is looking to supplement my time, not be a full-time income. I've already earned my full-time income by working for 40 years. So this is for me to find enjoyment and be able to do those trips, to wine country. And we want to come to Europe. That's one of our big dreams, is to go to Europe and hang out for a couple of weeks.
I love that. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think a lot of people open their shops with the idea of being like, I want to use this to have fun and do all the things that are on my list and tick those things off,
Yeah. Time is short. You don't know how long you have, so you might as well enjoy life while you've got it.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always a lot of reminders of that hovering around, and I think the more you see them, the more the universe puts these things in front of you, and you're like, oh, okay, yes, all right, I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to know one crazy but true fact about you.
Okay, I'm a bit of a rebel. I know, an accountant's a rebel. You don't get that, right? If you tell me it's impossible to do something, I'm usually driven to prove you wrong. Been that way since I was a little kid. I was a preemie at birth, and I grew up hearing, oh, she won't ever be able to, you just fill in the blank, because she was born a month early. Oh, she'll never be really smart. She'll never achieve. Yeah. Well, I was second in my class, in high school, went on to honors in college. It never been a problem for me. So they were wrong, obviously. One interesting fact, I got my motorcycle license when I was in my 40s and had a Harley Davidson for a few years.
Oh, that's the dream. Harleys are my favorite bikes. My dad's bikes.
When we moved from Minnesota to here, I sold my motorcycle because people in Ohio tend to be a little bit more dangerous on the roads. Minnesota, where we lived, was more country roads and back roads, so you could ride, and the only thing you had to worry about were the deer. I figured the kids needed a mom, so I gave up my Harley so my daughter could get her first car.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. I would still be like perusing the selection of new ones though every now and again. Okay, my final question before we wrap things up is, I would love to know what one piece of advice you would give to you a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You can choose the kind of time, but I would love to know what that bit of advice would be.
Don't doubt yourself. It'll all work out in the end, and you will make the right choices for you.
Love that. Love that. Would you say that's even if you're kind of doubting yourself in the moment, eventually you'll kind of work it out and Yeah. The one thing I've learned over time is that your gut instinct is telling you something for a reason. Pay attention to it. Do not ignore that gut feeling. That gut feeling is there for a reason. And every time that I have ignored my gut feeling, it was the wrong thing to do. Yeah. What does that gut feeling feel like to you? Interesting question, I know, but I'm curious.
Well, I'll tell you about a manager that was new coming into one of the companies that I worked for. And as soon as I met him, like the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I just got that feeling like, I do not get a good feeling about this guy. And I came home and I told my husband, and he told me I was being paranoid. And I turned out to be right.
Yeah. I think if you have that kind of reaction, it's stay away, buddy.
Yeah. And over and over again, if there's something about that person that rubs you the wrong way, usually your first instinct is right. I've not been proven wrong yet.
Yeah.
Ooh,
very good advice. I love
it. Yeah. Pay attention to your feelings. They're there for a reason.
Yes. And you're not going, Craig, you're not going crazy. Not overthinking it. There's usually a reason.
Yeah. They're usually there for a reason. I mean, your body will tell you, and you need to listen to your body too. If you're, feeling down and tired and stressed all the time, there's something in your life that's wrong.
Yeah.
That you need to fix.
Oh, I agree with that. Yes, I do.
Yeah. There was a time in my life that, work was everything. And there came a day where I had an epiphany. It's like, you know what? Why am I doing all this? Because at the end of the day, when you're said and gone, that company's not going to say, oh, I don't know what we're going to do without that person. They're going to hire another person. Right. But your family, they're going to notice that you're gone. But if you don't pay attention to them, they're not going to notice you're gone because you've not put in the time with them.
Yeah. I think it doesn't matter how lovely managers are, bosses are, owners are, founders are, in terms of you as an employee. I think, you will get replaced at some point when you leave your job. My husband's recently left his job of 9 years, and he kind of was, and it was in a school, and he thought, when I leave, it's all going to be very strange. And he was replaced within 2 weeks, not even that, 10 days, and they've not spoken to him since.
Yeah.
It's really sad. You think, wow, you put 9 years of your life into that thinking, and it was a lot of time, and then it just goes, and you think.
Now, there are some places you work, that everyone is a family, and you feel that family feeling. That's those great places you like to work. Those are hard to find. I've been very fortunate in my career. I have worked at a lot of great places and had a lot of great teammates and great bosses. So I've been very, very fortunate.
Yeah. I think probably a lot of people listening, watching will probably think, I've been in one of each, But you got to take some from, here was my word of advice to my employees, and how I developed my management skills is from every boss, whether they're good or bad, take something from them. Whether I don't ever want to be like that, or I want to be more like that, and that's what develops you into a good manager, because you're listening, you're going, I don't ever want to be that boss that does that to their person. Yeah. Oh, I've loved talking about this. This has been great.
Yeah.
Got some deep chats going on here. It's great.
There we go.
All right, Karen, I want you to plug where people can find you, socials, anything you want to tell people about your business. Do it now. You have the floor.
Okay, so Fireside Arts LLC is exclusively on Etsy.com. You can find me on Instagram under Fireside Arts LLC. There are other Fireside Arts out there. I'm aware of that. I'm the only Fireside Arts LLC. Unfortunately, you can't trademark, and if somebody else has got a dead shop, there's not much you can do about it. But we just released some wine-themed placemats, coasters, and pop holders. And we have several other themes out there. If there's something you'd like to see, but you can't find it on my website or on Etsy, hit the custom button, message me, tell me what you're looking for. I can share some mock-ups, etc. Put some fabrics together and put something together for you. I love to do the custom jobs because they're one-offs. They're fun. I've got lots of different products out there. Placemats, coasters, pot holders are my main 3. I have can koozies, which fit both skinny cans and regular cans. So you can and they're reversible.
Oh my God. More things need to be decided.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the fun stuff. We have little elephants for babies.
I want one. The kids can wait. I want one.
Well, actually, I have been thinking of one for you. I have fabric that matches your theme colors.
Oh,
I've been thinking of you. Oh, I have bunnies.
Oh, look at the bunnies with the fluffy tail. Oh,
and God. My bunnies aren't these boring, pastel blues. I have the colorful ones. Oh, and then I have turtles too.
Oh, yes. Game, set, match. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so definitely head to Karen's shop. We will link it in the show notes and have a little look, and also check out the social media stuff from Wine Country, because by the time this goes out, you'll be seeing that, and your Wine Country themed bits and bobs.
That's right.
I love it. Well, Karen, thank you so much for joining us and having a little chat. It was awesome just to hear about your process and your journey and all those deep little things that we've had a little chin wag about. So definitely check out Karen's shop, and thank you so much, Karen, for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning into How to Be a Handmade Boss. And if you're eager to boost your Etsy sales within just 7 days, then be sure to join my most popular free training at handmadebosses.com/conversion. You can also find the link in the show notes as well. Keep an eye out for our next episode, where we'll be continuing our journey towards handmade business success together. And until then, keep crafting and stay inspired, because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.